Hello and welcome to another Parts Factory Australia installation tutorial video. Today we're working on this LS1. It's actually a Caprice, but all the power steering pumps are all the same for all the LS1 models, other than VZ LS1. So if you have a VZ, this won't work for you. This is VT to VY. Guys, we're going to be changing the power steering pump. It's going to take about half an hour. You're going to need some hand towels or rags, etc. You're going to lose some power steering fluid. There's nothing you can do about it. Even if you want to, you can probably put a little bucket or a bowl underneath the car to collect it onto the instead of it going onto the floor. But other than that, guys, don't forget, if you're looking for this part, we have them here at Parts Factory Australia. So if you need it, go click on the description of this video and there'll be a link in there. Buy it, get it delivered to your door, then watch this video and I'm going to teach you how to install it for free and save you some money. Alrighty guys, let's jump into it, eh? Alright guys, the power steering pump is here, right there where I'm poking with a screwdriver. You can see the pulley in there. In order to get there, I like to remove this hose here, this trim, this cover, so we can remove this reservoir, move it to the side, fan belt here, loosen, etc., tensioner, fan belt off, and then power steering pump out. So I'll show you the best way to get that done. We're having some lighting issues. Okay, so to start with, take all these clips. Got one, got two, and one over here, three. You might have all five, but this car's been missing them for a while. And then you can just take this entire trim piece off, slide it up and out, stick it way out of your way, and stick all your little components next to it. Okay, now the next thing is this cover. There are 4 10mm screws, 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts rather, and they pop up and that cover will come off and you can put it over to the side. 1, 2, and then you'll have your other 2. Mine are already done. And the cover just pops up off the back. Comes forward like so, revealing your lovely LS1. Cover out of the way so no one can stand on it because it'll crack. And the next thing is we're going to remove this pipe here. You got a 8mm here and a 7mm there. And this hose will be completely removed. 1 7mm and then the 8mm. Try not to lose the hose clamps. We are going to be reusing them. You have your little intake temperature sensor. You can just pop off like so. Then you pop this hose off like this, and you pull your MAF sensor completely off that unit here, pull it up, and then take your MAF sensor plug off, like so. Take this hose completely out of your way so you're not standing on it. As you can see, we're getting in a bit closer now. So that's your power steering pump right there. I'll grab the torch. So you can see there's a 15mm straight through that hole, and there'll be the corresponding 15mm down here. And in order to get these holes exposing the bolts, you need to take the fan belt off. So as you can imagine, let's take the fan belt off. Alrighty guys, so the fan belts are super easy to get on and off. So I just like to completely take the belt off, maybe just come over to power steering pump. But let's see if we can not take it off. We can just speed this whole process up. You can actually just let the tensioner rest there. That way nothing kind of moves. Now you can see that the power steering pump's now just hanging out by itself. Right guys, before you go any further, just a reminder, you do need to change your power steering fluid when you put a new pump on, because otherwise you bring across all of the, say the little metal filings and debris, etc., from your original power steering pump. You put them straight back into the new one. It's just going to cause the same problem again. Guys, I'll put a link in the description of a video I recommend to learn how to change the power steering fluid. So change the fluid, then take your old pump off, and then yeah, of course, put your new one back on, and hopefully you're all good to go. Righty guys, we're back into it. I'm trying not to spill anything on the floor, and the way to do that is take the reservoir with the pump. So you can take this hose off here. You're still going to spill a little bit, but I'm trying to minimize how much we spill, as much as possible. If we can get the bottle facing up into the air and then pull this hose off, I want to take this one directly up into the air as quick as possible and then put my finger on this, if you know what I mean. So we're going to try our best to do that.
0.
Okay.
That was good.
Right. So this one, I'm going to tuck over here like so. Put it under that just so it sits there. And then this one, I'm hoping I'm going to pull this pump up and all of it will come out together. We can take it outside and hopefully spill nothing. So if you have a sidekick with you, get them to grab a rag like this and you can stuff it in this hole perhaps. And I'm just pushing this little rag inside of that hole. Because the fluid is quite thick, a little rag like that will actually stop it from coming out. So you've now got your power steering reservoir disconnected. The last thing is the pump and then the high pressure line in the back, but we'll talk about that later. So they're 15 mils by the looks of things. So grab a 15 mil, put the 15 mil straight through the hole. It's probably going to be pretty tight. And just big wrench, crack the bolt. Once you've got it free spinning, you can just put your fingers through and see how it comes straight to that hole like that. And you need to go for the second one. You can put the wrench in and then trace it around until you find where it is. I found it, it's just over here. So you can see how the power steering pump's now wanting to fall away. Stick your hand through and pop that bolt out as per normal. Bring it out like so. Okay, now that it's all popping away like that, you can see down the back here, you've exposed the high pressure line. It's looking like a 13, 14. We're going to crack that line. Hopefully put a little rag straight under it as we pull it out and then pull the power steering pump out. And that is the pump removed. 16 mil here, and we can now access this high pressure line here. Now get the little socket, or the spanner rather, sitting there ready to go. And go and grab a rag. Right guys, so I decided to put one of the bolts just slightly back in a little bit and then crack this bolt. Even just a hammer job. There you go. Because once it's cracked, then the rest of it should be able to be done when it's off. So yeah, I put the top bolt back in, little 13 mil open spanner. Now I'll grab my ratchet back again. We'll re-undo that bolt so it drops away like we had it before. You can even leave that bolt in now, because it's really, once we get it out, you'll be able to remove it. And then most of it should be able to be done by hand. Remember, this is going to be the moment where we really can't stop it from leaking everywhere all over the floor. So you could grab your rag, just stick it down under, just ready to collect a bit of it. There it is there. A little bit's coming out, so we're going to pull the pump straight up and straight on top. Guys, I want to give a big shout out to Trikes Australia. It's one of the companies that sponsors this video. Guys, they sell these electric drift trikes. They sent us one out to give it a go, and basically they're rear-wheel drive electric, drift trikes. I'll show you what I mean. We just fly around in the warehouse like this. It's absolutely wild fun. But yeah, if it's something like this would be a good idea for maybe a Christmas presents for your kids this year. So if you are interested, I'll leave the link in the description of the video. Cruise onto their website and check it out, eh? Alrighty.
Yep, we've got it.
Alrighty guys, I've got myself here a little workbench. You're gonna need one too. Here's the new one. This is the one that we sell here at Parts Factory Australia. Now, a lot of your questions might be, well, does it line up with the fan belt? Because there's a lot of power steering pumps getting around the market that don't line up. The answer is yes. We had them customized for the Australian LS1, not the Chevy, Camaro, whatever. These are suitable for the Holden Commodore LS1 in Australia. So if you need it, buy it. Link in the description of this video. Now guys, We're still focused on not spilling any oil as much as we can. And anything we do spill, we're going to capture it with a rag. Now, I'm just using a pair of pliers here to undo this little 7mm. Basically, I'm going to pull it off the pump like so, and then just tip it all up into the air. L1 can now bugger off over that direction. Alrighty guys, so I cleaned up the power steering fluid reservoir, and now I'm going to put the power steering pump back on, because now that there's no fluid in the reservoir, we can now do it a little bit differently. So we're going to remove our oil rag but off that line. You can see pretty much everything's ready to go here, as much as it possibly can be. But ultimately the most important thing is that we get that high pressure line back into here. So you can use a flathead screwdriver like so, pop the little seal, and then bring the pump down into position like so. Put the hose in so you can rotate it until the hose lines up, tightening up nicely. And then of course the pump goes there like that, right? Perhaps even better than the genuine one. We'll bring this bolt and we'll put the bolt through the hole like so until it starts. Then put your little wrench or whatever you have into tightening mode, poke it through the hole, grab the pump, bring it up into position until it kind of goes in like so. Now you want to do your second one before you go ahead and tighten anything up. So tuck the bolt straight through the hole. I'm going to come down with the wrench, and of course the same thing again. This time you can tighten up. That's one. Same thing here. That's two. So at this stage, we can put the fan belt back on, just so that we don't have to come back to this area. So just grab your fan belt. You can see that it's still kind of in position, ready to go. The fan belt, however, has to come over the top of this power steering pump, as you can imagine. So goes around the crank, over this little pulley here, around the engine crank, around the tensioner, around this water pump, over the pump. The last place I'm going to put it on is down at that alt, as you can see, right? You can see how it's all lining up nicely. You can grab this buddy bar here, let it loosen, and then release and let it sit around there nicely. All right guys, so now that you've got the pump and the belt back on, it's now time to tighten up the high pressure line on the back of the pump. Remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey. So you want to go that direction until it no longer will move. Should be pretty tight, guys. At that point, you can pull off this little plastic cap, and then we're going to go and get our reservoir. I'm going to put it on there, clamp on, reservoir back in, and yeah, good to go. All right, so you got your clamp facing a way that you'll be able to access it. So I probably wouldn't want it that way, right? I'd flip it and have it that direction so I can get in there with a flathead screwdriver. You can see how that's just gone on real nice, which is looking real nice. The pump reservoir just goes there, and then remember this one, still full of oil, so be careful. I'm going to tuck it here. There it goes, slips on nice. And then give it a nice tighten so that there's no leaks for the next 5 to 6 years to come. Now guys, don't forget, if you need this part, cruise on to the website, partsfactoryoz.com.au, pick it up, and we'll deliver it out to you guys, nice and easy. Okay, so don't forget guys, that this hose clamp still needs to be tightened up. This is your main return line, so it needs to be done properly. nice and tight. There you go there. There's not going to be any leaks coming out of that. Okay, so at this stage, pretty much we need to prime the system. So in order to do that, we're going to run it, which means we're going to have everything back together, all tidy and ready to be filled. So do a cleanup of your area. All right, so realistically, we need this piece back on the car so that we can start it and prime this fluid system. So don't forget you've got your MAF sensor plug, and then you bring it down into place, popping it onto the intake box, air filter box, and popping it onto the throttle body. Remember, you need to make sure that this is on properly, so it's like all the way around the edges, otherwise you will have some dust being sucked through and extra air, so you won't run right. So make sure that's done properly. So once you've got all this plugged in, technically we don't need to tighten it up just yet, because right now our objective is to get power steering working properly. So we need some power steering fluid, and we need to start the car up. Alrighty guys, while we're waiting for the power steering fluid to be delivered from the local shop, we're going to start putting everything else back together. So of course, bring your engine cover in. You got to line it up with those little things, 1, 2, 3 and 4. It should pop right down. And you grab your little 10 mils. You should have 4 of them. I've only got 2, 1 and 2. Tighten them up nicely. Now, of course, the next step is that front trim piece, rather. Straight after we tighten up those little 10 mils. So pretty much at this stage, everything is done, other than the priming of the pump itself. 1, 2. Now, this trim piece, there's a little trick to getting them in. They actually need to be up that direction and then slide in. You see how they kind of slide that direction? And that way they go in properly. Now these little trim pieces, you pull the little male part out, put the female part in, and then spread the clip. And then same thing here. 1, like so, and then 1 up here. 1, and then so. Now, some power steering pumps are harder to prime than others, but to start, what we're going to do, we'll fire her up, put some fluid in the reservoir, and we'll allow the pump to take up the pressure, and basically it circulates around the full system. We're going to bleed out all the air bubbles. Most of the time it should go in nice and easy, boom, done. If it does get a little stubborn, we jack both sides of the car up so that the tires are off the ground, so that they're free spinning, and we just go left and right, and do that until basically you don't hear any whining and the power steering works as intended. All right, so once we get the fluid, I'll meet you back here. Alrighty guys, the local shop just delivered this oil, so we're gonna, before we start up, we're gonna fill this reservoir pretty much to the top, because immediately a lot of the fluid is gonna be sucked straight down. Each time you can leave the cap off. Try and use a funnel if you have one, that way you don't, once again, spill any oil around the area. You're probably going to need more than this, because you will have hopefully done a full flush of your whole system. Remember, link in the description of the video to learn how to flush all the oil out of your system. Pretty much fill it right to the brim, because it's going to go into the pump and it's going to move around and fill up all the spaces. Okay, so that's to the brim now. So I'm just going to turn the car over a few times, and I just want to make sure that that oil doesn't go shoof straight out the top. So literally just yeah, so you can hear it suck down, which is really good. Now, obviously, you just continue to top it up, guys. Now, guys, you want to use your steering and go left and right. And that will actually push all that fluid out of the whole fluid system. All the air out of the fluid system. And every time you do that, the reservoir is going to drop a little bit further and further. So of course you come back over, and continue to top it up. So right now it's actually over full, but I'm going to sit here for a couple minutes going left and right until we get it to go down just a little bit further. And to be honest guys, that's actually all done. It's worked way better than I expected first time round. Alrighty guys, and that's it. Power steering pump installed, bled and running successfully in about 35 minutes, which is absolutely incredible guys. I just want to point out, think about the amount of money you've just saved doing this job at home DIY rather than sending it to your mechanic, having them sell you the product, upsell you the product, make money on the top, and then upsell you the labor. Guys, usually it's $1,000 fiasco. That 175 bucks delivered to your door, install it for free, and get a litre of power steering or 5 litres for you from your local hardware shop, guys, and you're laughing. That's realistically as easy as it is, guys. That's it, all done. Alrighty guys, thanks for watching another video from Parts Factory Australia. If you can, give it a thumbs up, and if you are interested in more content like this one, subscribe to the channel guys. You never know when it's gonna come in handy again. Thanks guys, see ya.